In order to understand why you're more likely to have a moment of insight, one of these aha moments, a shattering epiphany in a bathtub or a warm shower or walking in a beautiful park, you really have to understand what's happening inside the brain when you have an aha moment. I think one of the best pieces of evidence in terms of understanding that process, that mental process, comes from the work of a guy named Mark Young Beeman at Northwestern and John Kunios at Drexel. And they got interested in moments of insight for all sorts of reasons, just because it is this very mysterious mental moment. The two defining features of aha moments for a psychologist are, one, that the answer pops into your head out of the blue. You may not even be thinking about the problem, but then you're just in the shower washing your hair, and then boom, the answer arrives. It's there. The second defining feature of moments of insight is that as soon as the answer pops into your head, you know it's right. You don't have to double check it. You don't have to check the arithmetic, run the numbers. You know this is the answer I've been searching for. So those are the two defining features of moments of insight, both of which are kind of mysterious and crazy, that our brain is simmering on this problem the whole time, and then we're just washing our hair and there's the answer. So, obviously though, this kind of presents a technical problem, because you can't just put people in a brain scanner and say, okay, have an aha moment, have an epiphany. That'd be a really inefficient way to use brain scanner time, which is pretty expensive. So what they end up coming up with is a series of word problems called compound remote associate problems, or CRAP. Yeah, it's an unfortunate acronym. But the problems go like this. So I'm going to give you 3 words. You have to find the 4th word that can form a compound word with these 3. So the 3 words are pine, crab, and sauce. I'll cut to the chase. The 4th word is apple. So that's the compound remote associate word. The answer tends to arrive in one of these aha moments. So what they found is you can just put people in these brain scanners, these claustrophobic, noisy tubes, give them lots of word problems, and then see what was happening inside their brain when they had these moments of insight. And what they found is that a part of the brain is this obscure circuit of cells called the superior anterior temporal gyrus in the right hemisphere is very active right before we have an insight. This is a brain area nobody knows too much about. It's associated with when you tell people the punchline of a joke, it lights up. It's also involved in the generation of metaphors. So these are both mental skills which they involve the detection of remote associations. You'd probably never used pine, crab, and sauce in a sentence before, right? It's not 3 words that go together a lot. But this brain area, what it seems to excel at is finding the little thread, the thread of apple that connects pine, crab, and sauce. And so that's its special, unique skill, is it finds those. They're called remote associations. So that was interesting, but they still wanted to learn more, so they also hooked people up to an EEG machine, which is like a bulky shower cap. And what they found is that right before people have a moment of insight, they tend to get this very predictive signal coming from the EEG. And you could find the signal up to 8 seconds before people actually had the aha moment. And the predictive signal was the presence of alpha waves. Like most things in the mind, alpha waves are, I think, still pretty mysterious, but they're very closely associated with states of relaxation. So it's when you're taking a warm shower, when you're in the bathtub, when you're walking in a beautiful park, when you're doing something you love to do, be it lying on your couch and daydreaming or staring out a window while taking the train. All those mental moments are actually very closely associated with alpha waves. But the question is, why are alpha waves so predictive of these moments of insight? And what these scientists argue is that when we're focused on the outside world, when we're really paying attention to something going on out there, be it the problem or watching something on the street or just absorbing the television, that's where our consciousness is. We're paying attention to the outside world. But when we're a little bit bored and a lot relaxed, when we're taking a warm shower, we turn the spotlight of attention inwards. That makes us much more likely to hear this obscure circuit of cells saying, the answer's apple, the answer's apple. So that actually makes it possible to even get the insight in the first place. I think the counterintuitive aspect of this research is that most people assume when you get a really hard problem, a really hard technical problem or any kind of problem that seems impossible, what we have to do is to, drink another espresso, pop some Ritalin, do whatever it is we need to do to really focus on the problem. But that's actually probably the worst thing we can do, because then we'll just get the wrong answer and it'll loop in our head like a broken record. Instead, what we should do is, take a warm shower, Play some ping pong, a la the Google offices. Take a walk in the park. Do anything to distract ourselves from the big problem we're trying to solve, because it's when we're not trying to solve it that the answer will actually pop into our head.